guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's come up a few times in the comments section of my videos, and it's a question that's been asked a few times, and it's whether I let my clients choose their photos or whether I choose the photos for them. So this is really dependent on the client that I have. Most of the time, if the client doesn't really give much indication in terms of whether they do want to choose them or not, and they're happy to let you choose them and they seem to sort of trust you with that, then I don't generally offer that, and I usually don't send them a proof sheet. However, I think more often than not, in terms of model portfolio shoots where you're paid, I tend to give them the option of having a proof sheet, and especially for first-time models. And there's a few reasons why I do this, and I think I've just come to learn over the years that sometimes giving them a proof sheet to start off with is easier, because a lot of the time, if they are a first-time model and they're not used to being in front of the camera, they're not really sure how they look. And I think if you're able to give most of the, I don't send all of the photos. A lot of the photos that are either blurry or that are not particularly great, I omit from the proof sheet. I usually just give them the cleanest images from the shoot. So it may be 100 to 200 photos that I send through on a proof sheet. And they're usually just low res, very small, but big enough for them to see whether that's something that they want to include in their selection or not. And I think, back to the reasons why I do this, I feel like a lot of first-time models are a little bit more self-conscious, and they don't, like I said before, they don't know how they look in front of the camera, and I think it's good for them to be able to go through, and it gives them a little bit more comfort knowing that they can choose the photos that they want. If they're leaving it in someone else's hands sometimes and they haven't quite built up that trust with you yet, it's hard for them to allow the photographer to do that and be completely happy when they send the selection back, and it may not be the angles that they like of their face, or you know, you never know in that circumstance. So I think a lot of the time for first-time models, and generally with model portfolio shoots, I do ask whether the client would like me to send them through a proof sheet. However, especially if it's someone that I've worked with a couple of times and we've already done a few shoots together, I will generally just pick the photos out myself. And most of the time on TFP and unpaid shoots, I will generally always pick the photos out. Especially if it's a really big collaboration with a lot of different people, it's far too hard to send out a proof sheet to 5-6 different people and try and settle on, like, say 10-15 images from the shoot that they want to be edited. It's just too hard. So usually I will go ahead and choose the photos in that circumstance. But I think a lot of people get annoyed when clients ask to choose their own photos, and if I'm being honest, I don't really understand it. I know it comes down to trust with the photographer. I think when people are paying you for a shoot and they're actually handing over money to you and asking you to do a theme or a style that they want, and something that they want for their portfolio, I think it's important to listen to the client and actually understand exactly what they want. And if that means letting them choose their own photos, then so be it. I mean, you are getting paid for it, and it's a job. So, and I think in a lot of circumstances, I do this as well because it saves a lot of back and forth. If I've gone and chosen, say, 20 or 25 images and edited them or sent them through to the client, and they turn around and say, look, I don't like that selection of photos, or they might have seen some other images on your camera that they preferred on the day of the shoot, it saves a lot of back and forth, because then you have to go back and choose the photos, choose other photos that you think they might like, or basically do a whole new proof sheet for them and send them off. So I feel like a lot of the time, if you just do that in the first place, then it saves a lot more time later on down the track, and maybe saves you kind of getting into disagreements with the client about photos, and I think it just makes things run a lot more smoothly in doing so. So that's kind of my answer to the question. I do both, but a lot of the time for paid shoots, especially model portfolios, I will send through a proof sheet. But for the people that I've worked with a few times, or people that are a little bit more confident with modeling, that have done it before, I do tend to pick the photos. And a lot of models will sort of say, yep, I trust you, go ahead, kind of thing, which is fine. And I'm really quite happy to do it either way, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's really down to the individual person and what you're gathering from hints that they might be making on the day, or what type of person they might be. Yeah, so it's down to every individual person, in my experience. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that helped answer any queries that you might have about that. And if you have any other questions or requests for videos like this one, definitely let me know, and I will hopefully be posting some soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.